lugupeetud lõpetajad ja kõik teised, kes on siia aulasse tulnud teie auks, lugupeetud rektor, professorid, õppejõud, külalised. Meil on pikad traditsioonid ja tavad ülikooli lõpuaktuste osas, kuid olud muutuvad, ülikool muutub, Bologna süsteem on muutnud oluliselt meie hariduspilti. Tartu Ülikool on esimese 3% maailma ülikoolide seas rankingutelt. Seda on võimalik hoida ja parandada ainult rahvusvahelises keskkonnas. Dear new graduates, or should I already say alumni of University of Tartu. This year, we are harvesting the first fruits of our international master's programs, and we have graduates from Mexico, Turkey, Ukraine, Guatemala, Lithuania, students from Finland, and India. In coming years, this trend is increasing. For example, at our Computer Science Institute, we have currently 20%, every fifth master's student as a foreigner, every fourth PhD student as a foreigner. Also, 25% of the academic staff is foreign. Although the number of foreign students is or seems to be still small, today not so many are receiving diplomas, this trend is changing our university and rapidly. This change is not measured by number of degrees only, potentially filling the coming gap in Estonian demographics, but it has to be measured by international atmosphere brought home to our students, to you. You can develop work habits working side to side with international students and become international while studying in Estonia. Not only has it changed these couple of master's programs, but basically every other master's program as well. I'm sure that also many of you will pursue international careers in your future lives. There are some points I would like to tell you as the last lecture before you will get your diplomas. Think about time. Things change so fast. The education that you received will have to last through time. You are about 25 years of age at the moment. 5 years of studies at university must have prepared you for the next 40, 45 years until your retirement. But now think of the time. 52 years ago, the first computer was brought to Estonia and installed at University of Tartu. 25 years ago, when I studied as the first-year student, we programmed computers through the input-output device that was a pigeonhole or mailbox on the wall of the computer center. So we wrote some 100, 200 commands in cryptic assembler machine code on a piece of paper and took that to the pigeonhole. Some 2 days later, we could go and collect the answers. So somebody had taken these papers, typed it in, run on the machines. All the syntax or logical errors, they're really costly in time for us. And at that time already we had PCs and Apple computers also available at the University of Tartu. Taking all these computers together, they are still like 1,000 times slower than your current mobile phones. 20 years ago, as an exchange student at Helsinki, I was already a heavy user of email. But then in 1993, I genuinely believed that World Wide Web protocol is so much worse than the Gopher that was an advanced FTP. I had some reasons for that, because we had to browse web through arrows on the text terminals, and it was very non-convenient. And then I saw the first graphical interface to World Wide Web. The Mark Andreessens developed Mosaic. Oh boy, how much the internet has changed the way people interact and collaborate, the way how science is being made nowadays. Around the same time, early 1990s, a student, Linus Torvalds, got very upset for not having access to Unix that was essential in his programming classes. So he developed a small prototype on his own. But the code developed then, and the variants of that, runs nowadays your TV sets, high-performance computer centers, your Macs, iPhone, Android, telephones. Google is only 12 years old as a company. But for you, it has been there for all your lives, basically, knowing lives. Imagine doing studies without Google nowadays. But they came to the market that was fully dominated by a much bigger player, the Digital Equipment Corporation, and their Alta Vista search engine that was run on the most powerful computers on Earth then. As a not so successful or not so fast PhD student, being at University of Helsinki, I listened to Stanford University professor Jeffrey Ullman's guest lecture. He had written some textbooks that I had read, and I thought that it was yet another boring SQL database talk. But he started talking about social influence in the internet. Fundamental graph algorithms and prototype search engine using this technology that had been developed by his PhD students and the prototype running at google.stanford.edu, so before they had incorporated into the company. So that was 12 years ago. About 10 years ago, the first near full-length human DNA was sequenced and drafted using computerized methods to assemble it back from the tiny reads read by the sequencing machine. This sequencing is revolutionizing the medicine slowly but steadily. It definitely revolutionized the way we study or think about the complexity of living organisms. The deeper understanding is being acquired at unprecedented speed. But yet, about 10 years ago, molecular biology was a small producer of data as compared to astrophysics or high-energy physics or some other fields. Your personal genome would fit nicely now on the USB stick, and it's not that much of data. However, we have huge trouble handling and analyzing all the data nowadays already on computers. But now the technologies for acquiring information have developed as well. By 2020, there will be 1 million times more data generation capability, sequencing capability around in mere 10 years. Computers will get faster 200, 500 times. So there is a huge gap going to be there. Estonian Biobank, a startup venture some 10 plus years ago, is now a significant player in worldwide genetics. What will facilitate its further future growth? How do we understand what each and every base pair of our genome means? So this is about time, just to give you some perspective about your next 45 years until the retirement. Now about the subjects that you have studied. You have graduated in nearly 30 different subject areas in 2 faculties. From disciplines of physics, chemistry, mathematics, statistics, biology, ecology, environmental studies, to subjects like IT, software engineering, financial and actuarial mathematics, or applied measurement science. Which courses that you have taken have prepared you to cope with a constant change over the next 40 years? Or which commercial company could have said 5 years ago, we need specialists like that in 5 years' time? I do admire our students, for example, from statistics who work at computer science department solving problems from genetics on complex regulatory networks of microRNAs regulating hundreds of their mRNA targets. I wish there were many more students working in such clearly interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary areas, and students having willingness to study these several subjects, even if it takes some more time, inefficiency in studies. But now think, you have 30 different subject areas, and even combining 2 of those will give 900 different variants. So each and every you will have some unique skill sets, and based on those, your skill sets, you will have to find your real interests and deep insights to your personal careers for the next 40 years. You will face many times when you wish you had studied much more at university, or at least understood better why one or the other course would have been so useful for you back in this future time. Let's give higher mathematics as example. You wouldn't believe about that, but think about statistics, for example. If you choose to become a politician, you would like to remember the saying, small lies, big lies, statistics. And you wish you had known statistics better. If you want to get an unbiased, objective interpretation of your findings, of the world around you, the causality between the events, then you might have wanted to deeper understand the significance, statistical significance, and inherent limitations of logical reasoning much better. I like the metaphor of the boundary between the known and the unknown that I read some years ago in an Estonian newspaper column. Imagine the circle, inside the circle, everything that you know, and outside everything that you don't know. At university, you have clearly increased the size of the circle. You know much more. But now the boundary, the surface, has increased also. So you know that you don't know so much more. But you are not afraid to explore those unknown territories anymore. I am really glad that many of you will enter the PhD studies, and I would like to give one example from there. So last week, Minister of Science and Education, Professor Jaak Vilo, criticized some low-quality research being done at some Estonian unnamed university, working, for example, on some strange research topics in tractors of DT50, whatever. Sure, our university is not perfect in all areas either, but I wanted to give you one story about the tractors. It associated to the journal magazine from Technical Tehnika Maailm, World of Technology, that I had just read in Finnish. There was a story about a PhD student at Tampere who some 10 years ago got an idea for the new type of heavy machinery that was called digital hydraulics. Heavy machinery depends on hydraulics, so now how to make that digital into the binary one-off world. So analog thing as the hydraulics, where you could say that I need 21% of the pressure right now, etc. So the simple, ingenious idea was to combine a number of digital on-off valves and the heavily computerized control unit controlling all these on-off oil switches all the time. So you can combine many switches and then use combinations, exponential number of combinations, to achieve almost anything analog. So, moral of the story, you really have to think in many original ways, combining different skills from different subject areas, working with other people from different subject areas. You can work in future in science, business, or government regulatory roles. You will find your way. If in 2 years you still think that you haven't found your way, then we'll go and learn another very complementary skill set, and then you will find your unique traits. You will have to accomplish. I don't need to say that to you, because you have all now completed something that so many of your peers 2 years ago or 5 years ago could not. So you are here, they are not. Keep up that spirit. Once you have an idea, you have to pursue it through establish your careers in science or companies and make your customers happy. Even harder and far more challenging, yet very necessary and rewarding. Go and inspire the next generation of kids to study and choose their career options wisely. Aim at improving the quality and heterogeneity of life on our planet. Congratulations to all of you, the new Masters of Science and Technology. Palju õnne kõikidele lõpetajatele!